Loki, ladies and gentlemen. Loki, episode 3, 1893. And it's your boy Icon with a Marvel TV review for you. And when the Loki intro came on and they were playing the Marvel music on the piano, I thought that was cute, but you're too late because nothing's going to beat that Doom Patrol intro that came on this past episode of Doom Patrol. But anyway, so now before we get started, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, hit the notification bell so you get notified when videos pop up. So now let's get into talking about some Loki. So Kerry Washington's character came back, and I swear to God, I can never remember this girl's name. the name of the character on this show, I can never remember her name because every time I look at her, I swear to God, she looks like Kerry Washington. So we're just going to call her that until I can actually commit to remembering her name. So Kerry Washington's character finally turned up. She's in 1893, and the magical, mystical clock has returned, and the two of them are now in cahoots. Apparently, the clock was always the right hand of Kang, the Conqueror, and the clock, we're just going to say she because it's a female voice doing the thing. Although she's from down south, you can hear the southern accent, but I don't know why she has a southern accent, but the clock, she had recruited Kerry Washington, they're in cahoots, and they're supposed to go pick up Kang from 1893 and get him to eventually become the Kang that we all knew and we fear. Now Loki and Mobius, they're there as well, and they're looking for Kang because remember in the last episode we had that problem where the TVA was like falling apart with all the branches and the space-time continuum was blowing up. This particular version of Kang, he's an inventor, he's a creator, so they need him to bring him back to the TVA so he can fix the problem that's going on, you know, like with the TVA. But the problem with it is this particular version of Kang hasn't become Kang yet. So he's like where he is, like in his time frame, he's an inventor where he is. He's like the Dr. Emmett Brown of of his time period. He builds like chairs with refrigerators in them. He builds like magical pants and all this other weird stuff. So now there are two groups of people that's trying to find him. Everybody finds him, which takes us to that end credit scene. I forget. It might have been Ant-Man and the Wasp, where like one of the end credit scenes was the scene from this episode where they were looking at him on stage performing for the audience, and it was a white audience he was performing for, and they were calling him boy, and then everybody was just like, "Why should we listen to your colored ass?" And then when he showed his machines, everybody was kissing his behind, and then trying to pay him for his services. So then that's when Mobius and Loki tried to run up on him. Kerry Washington rolled up on him too. She tried to seduce him. I don't know. The two of them kind of had like a little thing happen in there, and then with the whole mystical thing going, they ended up getting him out of the place, and then that's when Mobius and then Loki's just like, we have to find him, and then unfortunately Sylvie shows up, and then I was just like, I thought you was flipping burgers at McDonald's. So, like, she shows up, she finds him, and now she's trying to kill him. Now Loki ends up trying to protect his ass, and he's well, not fighting Sylvie, but he's going back and forth with Sylvie about why she shouldn't kill him, and she was like, I told you that next time I see one of his variants he would die. And then he's just like, no, but we need him to save the TVA, and she's like, fuck the TVA, and then now the two of them are like going back and forth verbally. Meanwhile, Mobius is talking to Kerry Washington, and he's just like, girl, we should team up, and then she's like, no, she's like, I don't work for you anymore, Mobius, I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm like, oh, there's that term again. Then she's just like, I do what I want now, I don't need the TVAs. He was like, all right, cool. He's like Mobius' whole thing was, go ahead, like, do you, but when shit hit the fan, just don't come crawling to me. So then they managed, like, the door opened up, and then, the whole thing with Sylvie and Loki happened, and then Kerry Washington and the clock managed to get their hands on Kang. I mean, I guess they called him Timesley, but we're going to call him Kang. So they got their hands on Kang, and they went back to his house, and they said, gather up all your shit, because the clock said that the mission that they're on is the mission that was given to them by him, by Kang of the future. So she said, we're actually carrying out your mission. And then he was like, but I haven't done anything yet. So they're at his house, they gather up all his belongings, like all his, like technology, all his toys. They get on a boat. They're sitting on the boat. They're traveling to God knows where. And then while they're on the boat talking, that's when Kerry Washington tries to seduce him. And then he tried to seduce her. And then he was just like, she was like, oh, what a pretty night. And he was just like, the only pretty thing is you on this boat. And then the two of them seemed like they were kind of like, coming together. But then when she said, oh, I could be your partner and I would love to be your teammate and, and help you with your mission, the clock got jealous. And I guess when Kerry Washington went to sleep, the clock got in Kang's ear. And then, when Kerry Washington was asleep, like, they basically tossed ass like over the boat and tossed her in the drink. And then, he was just like, oh, he was like, true partnership is the device that's right next to me. And then she was like, yep, you definitely wasn't going to be around here, like, little lady, and then you could roll your ass back to town. And then she ended up rowing. She was in, like, they put her in a boat and then gave her the oars to row the damn boat. So I'm like, why would she not? Why would she not follow you? So they go to this other room, this hidden. I don't even know where the damn room was that they went to. It looked like the room that the TVA was in the last episode, but they're in this room now. And then the clock starts talking to him, starts talking to Kang, and then she's just like, "Oh, I remember the day that you created me, and then you just went." She's like, "I was just a regular old piece of technology, and then I turned into your faithful servant, and then you gave me a chance to have my own free will and do the things that I want to." And I was just like, okay, so we're getting the clock backstory. That's whatever. But then it turned when she was just like, "And then you and I were as thick as thieves," and then she's like, "The one thing you never gave me with all your power, all your strength, all your might, you never gave me a body." And she said, "I could have been so much more than just a clock." And I was like, oh my. I was like, oh, she talking about like more and more. And then she was just like, "Oh, I could have been your woman." And then he was like heaven's woman. He was like, "I don't even know you." And he's like, "I haven't even created you yet, and I'm not the Kang that you know." And then after that, she was just like, "You gonna give me what I need?" And I was like, "And that is." And then she tried to run up on him. And then when she tried to run up on him, he grabbed the off switch and turned her off. After he turned her off, then Kerry Washington came out of the shadows with the ratchet, and like she had the machine gun. And then she was just like, "Look, motherfucker," she was like, "You knocked me off the boat, but I'm sick of this shit, and it's my time now. And until she's like, so until then, you're gonna do what I say, or else." And then after that, he was just like, "But I haven't done anything, man." And then she was just like, "Shut the hell up." And then after that, when Loki and Mobius showed up, and then they were just like, "Don't do it." And she's like, "I'm gonna do it." She's like, "Take one more step, Mobius, I'm gonna do it." And he's like, "Please don't do it. We must save the TVA." And then she's like, "Fuck the TVA." And then that's when Sylvie showed up again, and then she knocked everybody out, and then she put the sword to his throat, and then she was like, "I have to kill you now before you destroy everything." And then that's when he gave the hope speech where he was just like, "I haven't done everything yet." And then he said that the stuff that you're accusing me of, he's like, "I haven't done, ma'am." And then he said, "I'm more than what you think I am, and I can make my own choices, and I don't have to be who you think I was going to be," and blah, blah, blah. And then she fell for that bullshit. And then she told Loki, she was like, "Take him before I cut his ass." And then, then Loki and Mobius took him back to the TVA. And then she stayed behind basically to go kill Kerry Washington's character. And Loki didn't even try to save her. But I'm like, well, Mobius like extended the hand and you spit in his hand. So that's what you get. So now Sylvie's about to cut the skin off of her hide. And then she was just like, she's like, in my mind, Sylvie was like, "I killed you 1,000 times over in my mind." And she said, honestly, there's no satisfaction in that. She said, what you wanted, she said, you were kissing up to him, you were trying to get close to him. What you really wanted was to have a seat on the throne or by his side at the end of time. So she said, be careful what you wish for. And then Sylvie opened a portal and kicked Kerry Washington through the portal and sent her to where the original Kang from the season 1 finale was, because remember, he died in his seat. So he's sitting there like dead in his seat, like, he's turning into ash. So she's there now at the end of time. And she like Sylvie said, she got what she wanted. She got like, she's at the end of time. She's with Kang and she can take a seat right by his side. But then after that, we didn't, and I don't even know when because she was slick when she did this shit. I don't even know when she did this shit. She managed to get the device that had the clock in it. So she let the clock out, and then the two of them didn't even talk about the betrayal, which I thought was hilarious. And then she was just like, well, she's like, "This is the end time, and that's Kang, the one that sent me to go do the thing." And what was the thing? Because in the beginning episode, she was like, "Our job is to put this thing in that window because that's what the boss wants." And I don't even think we found out what the hell she put in the window. But anyway, but they were at the end of time, and she was just like, "Well, I guess we're partners now because we're stuck." And then she was just like, "Oh, I could tell you about everything with him." And she said, "Girl, I could tell you things about you." And then she was like what? And then she was like, "Well, if you really want me to tell you," she's like, "You gonna be mad." And then that's how the episode ended. And thanks for tuning in. I think that what she's gonna tell her, because remember, out of everybody in the TVA, they all got their, except for Mobius. I don't think Mobius knows what his previous life used to be. Everyone else in the TVA, I believe they're aware of what their previous lives were. Kerry Washington is the only character on this show who doesn't know what her life was before she got sucked into the TVA besides Mobius. And I feel like the clock is going to tell her that she was either Kang's wife or she's his daughter. For the clock to say, "You're going to be upset when I tell you about your life," that means it's just like, girl, you about to kiss your daddy or something like that. But I don't know. But share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below, and we'll continue to talk about it. If you think my theory is like, let me know. If you got your own theories, please put them down in the comment section, and we'll continue to roll on for some more of this television goodness. I will say this, season 2, like I said, season 2 is not blowing me away as like, like I'm not being like, my mind isn't having an orgasm here, but it is, so far it is better than season 1, because season 1 by episode 3 in season 1, like I was ready to cut my eyelids out. But season 3 so far, it's actually shaping up to be pretty good. So like I said, like it's not better than Doom Patrol right now, but it's actually like it is entertaining, it is enjoyable, and I look forward, because we're halfway there, we only got 3 episodes left. I look forward to the final 3 episodes to see where all this foolishness goes and where we can, end the storyline. We can continue the storyline of Kang, and then we'll continue to talk about it. So like I said, so check me out on X or Twitter, the artist formerly known as Twitter, and or Instagram, always on YouTube, where you can leave your questions, comments, and or concerns down below. Check out my Fashion Week video, which is up to 31K. Jesus Christ. Thank you to everybody that watched my Fashion Week video, to everybody that left a comment and watched my Comic-Con videos. I love you all for that, and my Doom Patrol videos as well, as we roll on for more goodness. So that was it, guys. So until next time for some more Marvel action, take care, look out for the TVA, because we out this bitch!